When you pour into them, they will pour into you. I don't ever have to worry about being depleted because God gives to me and then I give to you and then I am constantly replenished. So that's nothing I ever have to worry about. I don't ever worry about that. I'm tired, but I'm never depleted. So know that the more you pour into the right people, and if you are steady pouring and you ain't getting nothing back, then maybe you are pouring into the wrong person. But when you pour into the right people, they will pour into you and it refills your cup.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Welcome, everyone. Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Is it a good connection? Hi, Esther. Thank you for doing this. Welcome. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, let me just put my volume up because I think I'm a little too low. Okay, let's do a test again. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sister Circle Chats. I'm joined by Esther and Dominique today. They are my two lovely speakers, and we're just going to get started. I'm going to introduce Esther. She'll be the first person who speaks. And Esther, just if you don't mind introducing us to your platform and what it is that Esther Maurice represents.
Sure. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Esther Maurice. I am an elder in the church. What Esther Maurice represents is faith, love, encouragement, healing, anything positive, anything good. That's what I like to represent. I have been in ministry for over 20 years doing God's work, whether it be through the church or through outreach organizations. I have a passion for helping people. I've written 2 books that were recently released. One is called Faithful Distractions. The other is called You Are the Answer to Someone's Prayer. And I also host every morning a morning prayer line that's called I Pray, #I Pray with Esther, where we get people started on their day with a 10-minute prayer just to start your day off right. So to get to know me is just, of course, encouragement, someone that will push you even when you feel like there is no other hope. I believe in there's always hope.
I see the people at this
Always
meeting.
a brighter side. So yeah, that's what Esther is in a nutshell.
I love it. Thank you so much for that introduction, Esther. So you said that you wrote 2 books. Can you tell us a little bit about them, please?
Sure. Both books are devotionals. The first one that I written, I released last year, back in 2019. And it's called You Are the Answer to Someone's Prayer. And what it is a list of various devotionals that you can use daily, along with a journal entry that challenges you for the day. It challenges you, like, what we're going to do today, what positive affirmation and what plans are you going to accomplish today based on the quote that we review for the day. It is inspirational and biblically based. And I've also written during the pandemic, I released a book called Faithful Distractions, which is also emotional, but also a journal. So it helps you to challenge you because I figured, so many of us have very similar distractions. It's usually the things that know how to get under our skin, the things that know to get us off. So trying to do, the purpose of this book is to make you proactive instead of reactive to the distraction. So you can be intentional in setting the tones and identifying those distractions when they come, and you get ahead of it and not fall into that whole trap of, oh my goodness, I was about to do this and I got distracted. So try doing your best to be intentional so you can get things done. So those are the 2 writings that I worked on that I released recently, and I'm working on my 3rd now.
Yeah. Nice. So congratulations on that. I love that you used intentionality during 2020, as a lot of us were distracted and a lot of us were faithfully distracted by a lot of darkness. Not in the faithful way that you're using it, but it was kind of like regardless of how you tried to move away from it, there was news that would just kind of try to infiltrate your life and derail you. So I'm happy that you used that time wisely. You use it as a way to continue to minister to others. And I think that's a very beautiful thing. I want to ask you, how'd you get started though? Did you just always know that this was your calling, or was there some specific occurrence in your life, like an event that kind of said, hey, Esther, this is what you need to be doing right now?
Yeah. Well, actually, yes, it was a big turning event for me. I grew up in the church. I'm a pastor's kid, so was always involved in church ministry. But I was also had my own thing going on. I wanted to be an actress and a writer, and all those good things. I didn't want to do that things. But at the time, I remember I had lost one of my sisters passed away, and I was in nursing school. And while I was in nursing school, right when I was about to start my clinical, something happened and financial aid and all this stuff, and I had to leave the school. And I was devastated, beyond devastated. I was depressed. I couldn't even get out of bed because I had no idea what was going on in my life. And and I remember praying and just saying, God, like, what's the point? What are you doing? And I remember as I prayed, one day the Lord spoke to me. It was like, I need you to go over to the church. I want you to go to church and go help out. And I'm like, oh gosh. And I went and I started going more often, and I started realizing and using my gift in organizational management and operations, started working that in the church. And the way I turned that into, it became infiltrated to me doing what I do now is, I was speaking to a friend of mine. And I was telling him how sad I was about everything else going on. I said, I was supposed to be a nurse. I was going to be great, this man. And he says, well, maybe God called you to nurse souls and not, and I'm like, it's like it hit me with a brick, and so I just started, getting more into my word. I still wasn't sure at the time if it was going to be speaking in this capacity because I was a little bit shy. But as the time went, because I went to seminary, and all of that was just for knowledge. I just wanted to know God's word, but God had different plans, and that's how I started this journey of stepping out of my comfort zone, talking to other people, and helping those in a time when they feel life is hopeless. Speaking to other women, reminding them that they can go on, that their mistakes and things that's happened to us has not disqualified us from, all the great things that God can do through us. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
I'm going to do something a little different for those who usually join the Sister Circle. I tend to ask 2 standard questions, but today it was placed on my heart to do it a little bit differently. So Esther, I'm going to start by asking you, when it's all said and done, what do you want to be remembered for? Like, what do you want people to be able to say? Because, they say energy doesn't die. And we look at people like Kobe Bryant and this like Mamba mentality. And now everyone just kind of uses that as an energetic pull to realign themselves with what they want to be their truth. So when it's all said and done for you, and I hope that's years from now.
Yes, years.
But what do you want? I don't want to use the word legacy. I just want, what would you like to be remembered for?
I would like to be remembered for love expressed in the purest form. And when I say love, I mean patient, compassionate, healing love. Because all of us are broken in some place or the other. Some of us mask it better than others. And I want to be known as, I want my legacy just to be known as someone that understands the broken pieces. And to help you in any way that they can to put them back together. And I think love is the binding agent to do that with anything, with anyone. Love can heal. Love will restore. Love will uplift. Love will encourage. Love will push. Love will sacrifice. Love will confront. But that is what I would like to be known for. Love and compassion.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. I'd like that too. And that's what I strive for every day. Some days I feel like I'm, close, other days not so much, but that is the human experience, right?
That's the human experience, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So my next question is, and this one's a good one. I actually like this one.
Okay.
What advice would you give your 16-year-old self, like 16-year-old Esther? What would you tell her? Come on, give me the real.
Wow. I got a lot to say to that girl.
I love it.
Oh my gosh.
What would you
know what I
tell
would
her?
tell her? First thing I would tell her is everything does not have to be perfect. Life is messy sometimes.
Yes.
I would tell her it's okay to make mistakes.
Yes.
It's okay to make mistakes. That doesn't discount you from God's love. That doesn't
Yes.
mean that you're not going to succeed. It's okay to make mistakes.
Yes.
And then I would tell her, 16-year-old me, relax, live a little, just have fun, be 16, make mistakes, just live. That's what I would tell her. And the reason I say that, if I may, if we have time,
Of course, of course.
when I was 16 years old, I grew up in a big family, so I've, always been mature for my age, but I had lost, my first sister passed away at the age of 16. So I
wow.
just was in a place where I just felt like I had to be so responsible. Just felt like everything had to be right. I was just I didn't know what to do, but to try to make everything neat and perfect. And I
Yeah.
think that sometimes limits us because we don't understand that we can make mistakes and that nothing is perfect. And you can't, just because you plan doesn't mean things are not going to go wrong, or, things are not going to be good. So, yeah, that's my advice to her. Live, make mistakes, things will be messy, but you'll be okay. You're going to get
You'll
back
be
up.
okay.
You're just resilient like that.
Yes. I love that you said that, Esther. It resonates with me. I often still hear the little me who wants to be that perfect person too. I grew up in a Caribbean household, and it's gonna make me emotional, but there was like there's a line where I think a lot of Caribbean parents don't realize that there's discipline and then there's just like toxic. There's certain ways that they try to discipline that really just kind of scars a young, gentle soul. And it's not deliberate, obviously not. But what that does is it kind of puts you in this mental space of, I have to do everything right. I have to do this. Like, I remember I used to get like a 95, and my mom would say, well, where's the other 5 points? What do you mean? Where's the other 5 points?
Celebrate the 95. Yeah.
The 95 is still an A, but what that kind of did was it just kind of put you in this, and it's a gift and a curse. It's like, strive, for greatness, never settle. But at the same time, it's kind of like, you have to balance out, or you could have done better. Or what if that was my best? You know what I mean? And being okay with that. So making mistakes, that's another thing too. In Caribbean households, it's like you're supposed to not make any mistakes, but then isn't this what this life is about? The human experience is making mistakes. We don't know what we're supposed to do. We don't even know why we're here, so you have to kind of get a little dirty to figure it out. And when I say dirty, figuratively speaking, like, it just can't always be this very neat and polished, So thank you for saying that.
No, absolutely. The Caribbean household, trust me, I grew up in one too, so I know. You gotta, and God forbid you color outside the lines, but that's what life is, So
exactly.
I totally get it.
Coloring outside the lines. Yes, that's a very good analogy. My next question is, what is your superpower? What do you think your superpower is? Talk to us.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I think I have, okay. I don't want to sound, okay. I think I have 2. Okay. I'm going to say, wow, because one leads to the other.
Sorry, I'm joining a little late.
No, it's okay. You're fine. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah. One leads to the other. And I don't know if this is a superpower or if this is just what God gave me, but God has given me a gift to be very empathetic towards people. Sometimes I pick up on what they're feeling, their emotions, very empathetic. And because I'm very empathetic, and because I have a gift to listen, I really have a gift to listen. Because I believe the more you listen, the less you have to say. So I have a gift to listen, and because of that, usually I'm able to figure out where certain pieces go. if that makes sense.
Okay.
So it's like a puzzle. Sometimes when I come in and I see chaos, and as we're talking, God just kind of reveals to me and shows me where certain things like they're supposed to go. So that's one of my, I believe, one of my gifts. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'd like to speak to, let's see, Soul Rebel, who just joined us. I'm about to put you on the spot. Ooh, that glass of wine looks mighty fine. Can I get some? So, I'd like to ask you, and I'm not putting you on the spot, it's a circle. I like for all of us to feel very included. But I'd like to ask you, if you don't mind, what advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
Oh boy.
You want me to get back to you? You want to think about it?
Yeah, I gotta think about that one.
Okay.
That's taking me back. I'm trying to think, what was I like? 16. Oh, I know what I'll say to my 16-year-old self.
Okay.
Don't doubt myself as much as I did.
Nice. Nice.
I doubt myself too much. I would have been in a different place in life if I hadn't doubt myself as much as I did.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I think a lot of us struggle with that self-doubt, that like little voice that's always saying, you know, like, oh, you can't do this, like, but you can. Why can't you? Right?
Yeah.
And it's always good to give yourself the empowerment that you need to kind of counter when that voice tries to steal your joy away. So thank you for sharing that. Dominique, are you good? Can I call on you?
Yes, I'm here. I was turning my heat on.
Thank you for joining us, Dominique.
Hi,
And
sorry, I was driving.
no, absolutely, it's okay. Dominique is an artist, guys, and she's actually worked with me a couple of times. I don't know if you noticed when you walk in. I still think I'm outside. When you get into the sister circle, the actual Zoom link, I have now switched the photo that is in the waiting room as the image that she actually worked on for me. It's a replica of the sister circle, which I love, and it's hanging right here in my dining room, but I can't. Can I turn it around? Hopefully you guys can see it. It's right there. Can you see it? Did you guys see it?
Yeah.
A little bit.
So that's how much I love it. And I did my 4th book. This past month I published it, and she actually did the art for the 4th book. So she's a young artist who I adore very much, and I'm thankful that she's joining us. I want to ask you what I asked Esther. What do you want to be remembered for, Dominique, when it's all said and done? And just like as I said to Esther, that'll be 80 years from now, 90 years from now, right? But when that happens, what do you want for your energy to be remembered as?
For me, I would definitely have to say patience, creativity, and just overall love. I do find myself to be a very patient person. I work with kids with autism. It's something that I love. I love working with kids in general. Creativity, just because that's kind of just me. That's like my energy overall. Like, I love to make anything creative, to do things more in a creative way, just to make it more fun. And so that other people are able to express who they are, how they feel, outside of just, for some people, it may be hard to just talk about themselves. So when I worked with teenagers and, you know, trying to introduce who I am, instead we'd write things down, we'd draw pictures, just because some kids may, you know, not feel just comfortable saying everything that they need to say. And overall love, because I'm just a loving person. I kind of learned that in college I loved a little too much and loved more for other people than I did myself. So definitely having that balance is, for me, is very important.
Thank you for sharing. Maybe the loving too much is a Dominique quality, because I too have that. And you know, very much like Esther too, I'm an empath. So I tend to love people for whatever it is I feel that the need for the love might be. Like I sense, like, I don't know, like I'll pick the one person, like the underdog, and that's who I want to be friends with, because I, for some reason, felt in my soul, you need my love. So I will over love this person. And like you said, I've, poured out a lot that maybe that particular soul wasn't ready to reciprocate. And as a result of that, face a lot of hurt. But again, it's all the beauty of life. But like, I love hard and I hurt hard. So I'm with you on that. So what is your superpower, Dominique? What's your superpower?
Other than art.
You got a lot more than that, trust me.
I would say definitely listening. I do
think
nice.
That just like Esther.
I'm a very good advice giver, I think. And I'm good with listening to people, and definitely just being able to, I would say, just be there. Like, a lot of people kind of just want someone there to listen and feel them out. And like literally right before this call, I got a horrible phone call from one of my clients' parents. And for me, because some people are like, well, that's not my life, but it's connected. I feel for my client and his mom and what they're going through. It's like, I wanted to cry, and it's like, I can't be there to help. And that kind of like, I don't know, I just would say just, and like she said, empathy, like I'm the same way. I don't know.
So being an empath, it's so funny. Being an empath is a superpower, although you have to learn how to use it. Because it can cause you some a lot of discomfort, because in you wanting to help so many people, it's good to always remember that you can't, like, that's God's job. Your job is to assist God, but you can't save the world. And I remember when I was like 7 or 8, that was the agenda for me. I'm like, I'm going to save everyone, whoever is hurting. It's my job, it's my mission. I went into social work because of that. Like, I started studying social work, sociology. I don't know what's wrong with me, I'm saying it wrong. But that was the vision. So I completely understand that, and I love that. That makes you a big-hearted person, and that's a beautiful quality to have. Before I move on to a next question, I want to ask if anyone in the circle would like to chime in. It's a circle, and I don't want anyone to feel left out. So if you have any questions or anything that you just want to contribute to the conversation, feel free.
I feel everybody should turn their cameras on.
Well, I think, you know what it is, honestly, Soul, I think that a lot of people, so, okay, I'm happy that you said that, because I kind of have like a little bit of an announcement for people who are consistently a part of the circle. I'm no longer going to be recording it after the next one. Why I recorded it to begin with was so that people can actually, like, not in a podcast way, but kind of like that, right? Like on the days that you kind of just need to see beautiful faces looking at you, talking about their life experiences and giving you their soulful, accounts of this journey. You could click on that on YouTube, and here it is. We're sitting in your living room with you. But I've noticed that some people don't feel like that creates a safe space. So with a lot of meditation, I've come to the conclusion that I will not be recording anymore after February 7th. So for those who kind of just needed that to kind of not be a part of the plan, rest easy. As of February 7th, it's just going to be, a closed group where we come, we talk, we share, we love, we laugh, all good stuff, all good vibes. But yeah, so I think sometimes people just, I don't know, or maybe they just didn't do their hair. You never know. They could just be sitting there in some rollers and a bonnet, and they don't want to be seen. So, but thank you for sharing that. Anything anybody else wants to express? Any takers?
Okay.
I hear a voice.
That's me. Hold on.
Hi, Dana.
Hey,
Thank you for
okay.
joining.
Absolutely.
Hi.
This is why I feel my kids keep coming around the corner being disrespectful, trying to get on my camera. That's what my camera's
Your
off.
voice is kind of muffled for some
Yeah,
reason.
it's a little
Yeah.
muffled. Talk
Can
again.
you hear me?
Now I can. Yes, yes, yes.
No, it's gone. No, it's gone.
No.
I pick.
No. And it's actually doing like an echo now. Did I lose her? I don't see her anymore.
I think her camera went off.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, now you're good. You're good. You're
Can
good.
you guys
You're
hear
good.
me?
Yes, 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 yes.
This is so loud. You can hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying, I love the questions that you're asking today. I know they're a little bit different than, and I like that you switched it up. I was just hopping up here to say that, as far as if I could say what I would like to be remembered for, I would love to be remembered for being myself unapologetically and allowing space for people to show up as themselves, however they are, right? Able, disabled, saved, not saved, healed, need some work, however they are, allowing them to show up how they are, making space for them and allowing them to just be themselves. I think there's such a need for that authenticity, and people just want to know that they take up the space that they deserve. People just want to find that space is there for them.
I love that. I love that you said that, Dana. Thank you for chiming in with that. Not that I'm an expert on the Bible, and I'll need Esther to help me with this, but the Bible does say, come as you are, right? There's a biblical scripture that says, come as you are. And I think that's what we kind of need, all of us in the collective, to work on, especially, and I know Dana can echo these sentiments, being a mom of a child on the spectrum kind of really opened my eyes to inclusion and sensitivity, because I will not pretend like as if I wasn't the person who was like, oh no, you know what I mean? Because I was young and unaware. But as I grow older now, in wisdom and awareness, there's this desperate need to find a way for us to be more like just as you are. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, you don't need to change anything. I love you just as you are. So Esther, I'd like to ask you if you have anything to include in that. When you speak to people, when you sermon, not sermon, I'm all over the place. You know what I'm trying to say. So when you're speaking favor on people,
Right.
how do you get for someone who feels unworthy to feel worthy? How do you kind of communicate that to them?
Well, I think the first thing is to remind each person that that God loves them. And translating that sometimes can be hard because we receive love, we interpret love by how we see it around us, and if the person is not receiving that love in a healthy way, it's hard to reconcile that God loves me when the people around me don't love me or don't feel like they love me. So I think the first thing is to understand and readjust the mindset that, listen, God loves you the way you are, regardless of the mistakes you've made, regardless of the places you've fallen short, regardless of what the world says. You do come to him as you are, but as you learn to love yourself as God loves you, and that's a healthy love. That's a love where you see yourself through God's eyes, and that you understand that his love is unconditional. Then when you start seeing that, then you don't always stay as you are. You start evolving, you start growing, different parts of you start healing. So the first thing is to help the person understand that God loves them, and that regardless of what they are, and the evidence of that, the evidence that God loves them is that, number one, he wakes them up every day. He allowed them to still be in this world, and that and then there's something that that he wants to heal that part of them. And when we have an encounter with them, with God, and we have start getting a relationship with God, that's when the healing process starts, so that we learn how to receive that love, because it's there whether we receive it or not. It's there. It's just about
there.
being able to receive it and understand that it's there. Yeah,
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So I actually think this is a good point to segue. I've been thinking about this one a lot for myself. You know, because we all go through moments, especially 2020. Oh my gosh, I can't stop stressing that enough. Like, just what a sucky year, and it somehow kind of tried to leak into 2021. But what is it that you struggle with the most in keeping yourself feeling connected to that love? Okay, so I'll repeat it. What is it that's within you or within your circumstances that you struggle with the most, that keeps you, that's the block, that keeps you from feeling that love? Because like you said, that love never goes away. It's just that I don't want to say we go away from it, but sometimes there are things that blind us to it. So please feel free to share. What is it that you struggle with that sometimes can cause you to not access that love?
Love as far as what? Relationship love? Love as far as what? What do you mean?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah. Universal love. The love, when I say universal, the love that is given to us by the Creator, the love that you feel that gives you faith, that gives you a sense of hope and joy, you know, that just something that you just kind of get when you get filled inside of you, whether it's through meditating or when you're playing with your pet or you're kissing on your family member, you know, that sense of love, that divine love. That's what I'm referring to. Does that make sense?
With all the thing that's been going on in 2020, you mean all the things? Well, it's been a really rough year for me, I would say.
Yes, absolutely.
With everything. I am a teacher, and I've been teaching remotely, and it has caused a strain on my personal relationship because I'm in the house every day, and the person I'm involved with is in the house every day.
Yeah. Can't escape.
That has caused some really issues, you know. So because before, you know, you have that separation, you go to work and, you know, we don't see each other until like later in the day. So, so you know, and then we're from different cultures. So that, and, you know, given the climate of what's going on in the world, you know, I find myself, you know, becoming angry and, you know, projecting certain things. I'm very vocal on how I speak, and, you know, because my father was a very political activist person, you know, and I was out there when they were doing the matches and all that in the city and all that stuff. So I find myself, you know, reacting to people and things when they say things in a very fiery way. And I needed to take a back seat because I was offending friends and people that knew me for a while. And then I was putting myself in a position where nobody wanted to be around me. So angry, even my kids were like, "Mom, what's going on?" You know. Even at work, they were like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" So I had to take a back seat. My drinking had went up even more. It just had become really difficult. So. And now I am in the process of actually moving. So I'm in a mood of change, and I'm coming to a big, huge birthday. So I'm in a process of change. I'm at a crossroads. So So hopefully things will, I think I'm calming down. Things are getting better, but I'm in a change vibe right now. I mean, I'm going through a change. So
Absolutely.
I'm shedding skin like a snake.
Absolutely. Ooh, I like that. I love that you said that. Shedding skin. I love it. You gotta make time for yourself, whether it be one of these gatherings, going for a walk. A lot of times all we need is to just step away from the situation and the environment that's causing us to feel that type of, ugh, you know what I mean? Because it can get intense, especially when you are facing so many different types of stimulations simultaneously, and especially the ones that you can't control. We can't speed this pandemic up. So there's a lot that comes with that. So just making time for yourself is like number one. And it supersedes anything else. You know what I mean? So when you start to feel that bit of frustration, it's walking away. That's okay. You don't have to respond in that moment,
Person, don't fighter.
Well,
don't put the swords down. You come at me, I come at you, baby. You ready for the I carry the on my back.
Trust me, we're very we're kind of the same person. I can be a fiery spirit myself once triggered, so I get it. But everything comes with practice, because you are who you are, but it's what takes precedence, and what takes precedence is, because when you do that, you're causing yourself to feel uncomfortable, because after you've done it, like, you get it out, then you're like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have said that, or I went too hard, or and the whole goal is for you to kind of keep yourself in a place of feeling good within, so the walking away isn't necessarily for the person, it's for you. I'm walking away from me, so
what I've learned from the whole thing is that you end up being in isolation. It's how you say it. You can get your point across, but it's the way you say it. You can't use too much emotion. You have to really say it in a way you want the person to understand your point, but don't say it in a way where you're angering everyone. It's just you have to say it in a way where you, like Obama. This is my guy. He's so diplomatic when he says something. Like, he gets his point across because he makes his point, but it's so diplomatic. And that's what I'm learning to do. Usually I come at you and I just punch you right in the stomach with my point. I don't say it in a way, where it's smooth and soft and it's a nice drink. It's like, boom, there it is. Take it.
Yeah.
It's not like it's soft, it's that's it. And that's something I'm working on with myself. I'm really working on that, to tell you the truth. Yeah.
Well, you give yourself some props for actually being transparent about that, because there aren't people who are willing to admit those things, so that's definitely a great quality that you possess. Esther, did you want to give me a little bit of something with that? And I know we kind of just moved away from it, but I want to go back to the main question, which was, what is it that you struggle with currently, or maybe in the past, that kind of keeps you from being in a place of feeling that divine love?
I think for me, one of the most personal things I would say is, because I'm always I'm the giver. I'm usually the one that's reaching out. I'm usually the one that people call to for encouragement or something like that. So sometimes when you're that person to everyone else, when people see you as strong, as got it together, as helpful and all those things, usually they forget to check in on you. So one of the things, sometimes when I get through my moments and I get a little weary, and I wonder, the biggest question I ask God during those moments is, when is it my turn? Where's my help? Where's my need? Where's my need? You know what I mean? So in those moments like that, I those are the moments that I struggle with sometimes, to say, God, send people around me that's going to encourage me when I need it, that's going to lift me, and that I know is a safe place that I can rest my head, that'll be honest with me and help me get right back up again, or give me that space to be vulnerable, to be to say
Yeah.
what I need, and help me build it back up again at, through him. So I think that's one of the ways. And usually when I do feel that way, if I get into a little funk, because sometimes if I'm not, being extra spiritual, sometimes you get in that area, you don't feel like praying. I don't feel like,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
Yeah.
You get into that
Yeah.
situation, you don't feel like talking to God because you feel like I talked to you already. Send the help.
And then you hear me, right? Like, are you not listening?
Sometimes we just over spiritualize things, but that's all part of our human experience. And I think as
Yeah.
believers, we got to remember that our faith doesn't exempt us from that human experience. So just like Jesus got depressed, he got tired. I do too. So when I do feel like that, sometimes I just try to either I just kind of sulk through it and just say, God, help me feel better. And it's amazing because sometimes he'll send somebody shoot me a text or call me like, you just came to mind. What's going on? What you doing? And they'll check up on me. So it has a way of coming back together. Someone reaches out, someone comes after me. And sometimes it takes more than one call. Sometimes it doesn't go away in one day, but either way, eventually it does because he restores me. But it's being honest though, like Soul said. I think it's about being honest too about where you're at that moment.
Yeah.
If you're not honest with yourself about where you're at that moment, then how are you ever going to be able to address it and get to the next and get to the better that you have access to? So that's usually my thing when I get into my little funk. It's usually like, okay, when's it my turn? Like I need somebody to purge me,
to help me.
So yeah.
Okay, I like it. I like it. That's great because we again all struggle with that. And I think it was Dana that said being transparent is super important to really just put it all out there. And there's this thing called it's like one of those trending words. It's called trending phrases. It's called toxic positivity. And I don't subscribe to that. Like I will just let you know, like today, it ain't it. I'm sorry, like I will do my best to show up in the best way that I can, but there are days where it's just not popping. And it's not that I wanted to, but things can kind of dissuade you from being, your usual chipper, happy-go-lucky, yay, let's save the day self, Dominique, I didn't forget about you. What is it that you struggle with? You're very young. Dominique is 25, and like I said, she's an artist and a great artist at that. And I think you did say that you just started a new position, and working with children who are on the spectrum can't possibly be easy, right? I have one, so I know, like you're working with a couple of them. So what are the things that you face in life, like the things that cause you to feel like you're struggling, that kind of block you from being able to stay in your Zen place, if you will?
For me, I would definitely say self-doubt and kind of overthinking is one of my toxic qualities. I tend to overthink everything, and I kind of, when I feel like things aren't going the way that I thought about it and planned in my head, I start to get in kind of like panic mode, and I get overwhelmed, and I kind of shut down completely. So it's like moments where some days I'll get home from work and I don't want to paint. I don't want to watch TV. I don't want to talk to anybody. I kind of just want to sit on the couch in silence and just like close my eyes and just rest. Or I'm just annoyed or don't have the motivation to really do anything. And I don't know, like sometimes it comes with just other people's opinions. That kind of gets to me a lot too. I'm working on that. When I graduated in May, I had asked one of my thesis advisors to write a recommendation letter for me for school. And worked with this woman closely for 3 years and thought we had a great relationship. Not, I wouldn't say great, but I felt we had a positive relationship. And when I asked her, she basically, to sum it all up, had said things like she didn't feel that my passion to continue my education was there. and that during school, she felt as though I wanted to just get it over with and graduate. I mean, that's everyone's goal, is to graduate. And getting your master's, this is not easy. I was in a clinical psychology program. I had to stay an extra year because a lot of things that happened during my second year and my first semester. I lost my godmother, my godbrother, just life. Things are going on at home. My family's in New York. I live in Virginia by myself. So it's so much stuff that's, I can't help everybody. I want to be, you know, the superwoman, but it was just so much things I was taking on and telling people, yeah, I can help. Yeah, I can help. Yeah, I can help. And like not taking care of me. So when she said that, it kind of put me in a place where I'm like, well, maybe she's right. Maybe I don't want to continue school. And it only took me about an hour, you know, to get myself together, because I had to step back and say no, because since I was a kid, I said I wanted to become a doctor. Yes, my plan changed, what kind of doctor, but I still want to be able to help the kids that I work with, because I'm passionate, and I know anyone that knows me knows that I'm passionate about those kids and those families. So I kind of just was like, you know what? I don't need her, you know? That bridge, they say don't break the bridges, but that one's broken. Like that's not the energy that I need. So for me, it's a lot of just knowing who I am, kind of getting that positive energy back, and so that I don't fall into those pit holes, because I get there and I get stuck. Yeah. And it kind of takes a lot to get me back and feeling, you know, good again. So
yeah. Well, I'm so happy you didn't listen to her. You know, and I'm yeah, I'm very happy. And I feel it from every time that I've ever heard you speak about your love for working with children who are on the spectrum, that it is your calling and they would be blessed to have you. So please block it out and only listen to what God puts on your heart, because you are a blessing. It's not an easy field to work in. And, you know, more people like you who are like your soul is prepared for it are needed, because that's what, you know, those children actually need, is to feel safe and to feel accepted. You know, some people get jobs and that's just what they want to do. Like, I just my paycheck. But I feel like children should not be exposed to people who are there just to get a paycheck. You know what I mean? Like, it should be something that really resonates with you, because they are so fragile. And, you know, it should just not be just a paycheck and you're just like, you know, but I digress. Thank you for sharing, Dominique. You know, I'm a mom of 3, so I get worked up over that. So guys, you know, I'm still switching it up. I now have this new part where I say sound off. You know, before we get off of the circle, I want you to purge if you have something to purge. This is a safe space. You are not going to be judged. You are not going to be looked at any different. But it's the whole point of why I created this, was for it to be sisterhood. And sisterhood is caring. You know, Esther said, you know, her biggest frustration is, you know, where's my me? I struggle with that too, because I'm such a go hard for a lot of people in my life. And sometimes I want a me to come and pick me up when I'm down. You know what I mean? So like, it happens where you get kind of just, you know, smacked a lot. And that's why I created Sister Circle, for it to be a place where you actually come and be fed. You know, no, it's not church, but it's a way to be fed, because you're hearing other people tell you that it's okay. I go through it too. And I, you know, struggle with the same things. And this is what I do to counter that. So now that I kind of drill that one home, sound off. If you have something that you just want to say and release so that you don't have to take it into Monday with you, now's the time. Now's the time. No takers? Do you guys want me to start? Because I always got something to say. Any takers though?
Oh, me. Hello, good evening, everyone. Hi. You know, I'm usually the one talking with my camera open. This week was like a up and down type of thing, because I had one of my friends who I've known for about from not working at the same job, her husband from 31 years last year, They made their 31st anniversary, and I just looked on Facebook during the week and found out he had died, passed away.
Lord.
So, and it was like we lost connection with each other.
I'm
And
sorry.
I'm very sorry, you know, for that. But I reached out to her sister-in-law, which is her husband's sister, and I'm trying to make some kind of connection back with us because the service is February 1st, and I know I'm gonna go, just going because of COVID and everything. But I want her to feel that I didn't drop off her because I had like certain things were going on at that same time that we distant each other. But it was like, you know, what happened? I have her phone number. I called her. I left a message of condolence, and I'm trying to figure out, should I press back and call again or just let her stay, because it's not about me and what happened. It's her that I'm worrying about, you know. But as I said, I don't know which way to go with this. Bothering me this week.
Well, when people are grieving, especially the loss of a spouse, I can only imagine that taking a phone call is the last thing that's on that person's mind. And they just kind of need space to just be alone with accepting, if they're even at that point, you know, because it takes a while before you can accept something so traumatic. So there's the 4 agreements. I try to live by them, the 4 agreements, and you can look it up. One of the 4 agreements says, take nothing personally. Because honestly, as much as we project, I think Soul used that word earlier, we have certain things inside of us. We have our own conception of what it is that's happening. And it isn't always right. More often than not, it isn't. It's just based on whatever it is that our mind is telling us based off of our life experiences. So I would say take nothing personally. Do what you are called to do, which is show your love and show your support. And unless she kind of says, hey, you know, whatever, I'd kind of just give love, because this is such a touchy moment. 31 years to be married to someone, and now have to do this life without them. That's rough.
It's her birthday, and today is her birthday. It was like, it was a point where my son, well, I had like 3 sons. This is my youngest son. So in the time we've known each other, she has a son that's a year old, younger than mine. So it was like a moment where I had a sister that had MS, had passed away. I had another sister that had cancer. I thank God she's okay. But I fell off with her. You know, like I said, when somebody invites you to the house, well, come over, you and your husband and your son. And that was like a moment where I was going, one was sick, the other one was sick. So I didn't think I hope she didn't take an offense that I didn't come to her house. So I was thinking maybe she took offense that I pushed off for her. But in that time, it was hard to talk about what I was going through.
Absolutely.
So like today is her birthday and everything. And I know how me and her, I know my husband and all of us, we used to be at Atlantic City at the same time. We're not knowing it. So it's like, you know, I'm just giving her the space because I know it's hard for her. And today I know that this is a day that they would have been like celebrating her birthday and everything. But, you know, that's why I just keep thinking about her, you know.
Absolutely. Another person.
Can I say something?
Sure, Esther. Yes, please do.
I think it's that's a beautiful memory that you just shared with about her and her husband. I think when you're grieving, even though sometimes you need some space, knowing that someone's there and reminding them that you're there, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Even if she doesn't call you back, you shoot her a text, maybe, and let her know that I'm thinking of you, and I know today's tough, it's your birthday, and you may be thinking about this, but just, you know, you're in my thoughts, you're in my prayers, things like that. I think because you remember, even though you're grieving and you feel like you're in a fog and you can't get to everybody, you feel low, but just having someone reach out and talk to you and just reach out and check up on you goes a long way. It goes a long way. So even though, you know, you may not expect it to be, you know, her to call back or respond, but just throwing it out there, I'm sure it could mean a lot to her too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Esther.
Thank you.
And thank you, Annette, for sharing that. So
I just wanted to say something too. This is Layla. I agree with everyone saying, and also she may be in a place where she just may not be ready to talk about it right now at all. Or she might not even want to hear about it right now because it could be a trigger for her and her healing as well. So, and just know that it, it may not, her not responding may not have anything to do with you at all. And that's the most important thing. 'Cause sometimes we internalize things and think it may have something to do with what we've done or what we, what's going on with us but it's really probably she's grieving right now, may not be ready. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you, Layla. This
You're
is
welcome.
this is 100% true. The grieving process is a very dark and daunting one. So I don't even think anyone could really think beyond what is actually occurring when they're grieving such a huge loss. So you're 100% right, 100% right. But Esther's point is very valid too, meaning what God put on your heart, just do it, just send a quick text. There's nothing wrong with a text. And at least you know that you did your part. You know what I mean? Annette, like, I sent a text, I'm respecting her space. It don't have to be wordy. Just sending you love, you're in my thoughts, happy birthday. Something that short would kind of convey that, and then the pressure's off of you so that you don't have to really overthink it so much, because I know there's something in your heart that's causing you to think about it so much, and I understand that. I honor that as well. And I hope that makes sense to you, Annette. Okay, good. So ladies, I don't like to, rush us off, but it's heading towards 5 o'clock, and I try not to keep us on more than an hour. But keeping in the 3rd week tradition of this, we're doing the raffle. I feel like Oprah, raffle time. So we're gonna do the raffle. So I'm going to think of a number, and if you want to participate, you do not need to put it in the chat. I just want you to just kind of just talk to me and let me know, because it's hard for me to maneuver through the chats and I might miss someone, and I don't want to do that. So if you want to participate, you just kind of unmute yourself and let me know. But I'm thinking of a number between 10 to 20. 10 to 20. So it's any number between 10 through 20. If you want to participate, I am going to be giving the winner a beautiful candle, vanilla scented candle, or whatever scent that you would like. But it's a hand-poured, handmade candle from Estrella Candles. And I love them because I always buy them, and they really just make your house smell really good. So you will get that. So drum roll. Who's going first? Who's going first?
11.
11. Okay, Shariah said 11.
19.
Who said what? Esther?
16.
16. Okay.
I say 18.
Who said
Dana,
18?
I said Soul said 18. 18.
Okay, Soul said 18. Who's Dana? Dana, what's your number?
19.
19. Okay, and that
15.
okay. Is that it? No one
Layla,
else?
I'm going with 13. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Layla, you said what? I got you, Dominique. Dominique said 13. Layla?
I was gonna say 15 as well.
15. Okay. Is that all? Because I know there's more people on the line. No one else wants to participate?
17.
Is that Rebecca?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Rebecca. Is that all? Is that all? No one else? Rebecca's the winner! 17.
You're kidding. Oh my God.
Yes, Rebecca. I will be hitting
awkward.
you up on, I think, are you on Meetup? Are you a Meetup member?
I don't know. I think I put this all together yesterday. So I don't know if I'm a member or not, or if they just, like, when they give you the option to like sign up with your email. So I don't know if that automatically makes me a member or not.
No, but how'd you find the circle? Through Meetup?
Yes.
Okay, so if you can just drop me a message, because I need to be able to find you. If you could just drop me a message on Meetup, or did you reserve, like, did you RSVP?
Yes.
Okay,
do
cool.
that.
So I'll shoot you a message on that. Ladies, thank you so much. I had such a good time. I mean, like, the whole switch up was a little impromptu, but it really brought like a more fullness in my heart, because I got to speak to more of you that normally we don't get a chance to, because the speakers tend to be the focus. And I don't want you to feel like you are not part of this experience. So thank you to everyone who was brazen enough to get themselves involved in the conversation. Thank you to Esther. Oh my God, like I fell in love with everything that you said, and I'm so thankful. So thankful. I'm beyond thankful that I asked you to join the circle because you gave so many gems. I'm thankful. And Dominique, of course, because you have my name. So I'm like committed to loving you. But you know, you have such an amazing spirit. Thanks to Dana for participating, and Annette and Shariah. If I'm missing anyone, please don't be mad at me. I just don't want to I don't want to go over too much. Esther, Dominique, do you want to send us off with any parting words of sisterhood that you can give? Just one sentence, and then we'll just shut it down. Starting with Dominique.
I guess I would say, because I kind of live by this, it was actually my first tattoo, not easily broken.
Nice. I love it. Esther, do you have anything?
Sure. You're the answer to somebody's prayer.
Ooh. Church snaps. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Dominique. Thank you, everybody. Sending you guys lots of love. Happy Sunday, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Take care, guys.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.